And how's it going, everyone? Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys like the music. And we are live for the first, 0th episode of the podcast. This is the ToonCar Tandem podcast here, and I am not doing this by myself. I have a co-host with me here, and who is here? Who's here with me?
That would be me. Hello, Griffin. This is Sonic Rules 831, otherwise known as Alex Gray. You may know me on Twitter. How's it going?
It's going good, man. It's going good. So this podcast here, this is like the dress rehearsal, as you see on the title screen. This is the syllabus. We're going to figure out what the heck is this podcast? What's going on? Griff, are you back? Is the world coming to the end? I don't know. Is 2020 going on forever? I don't know, man. Lots going on here. But thank you guys so much for dropping in. Thank you guys for coming in here. Corvette Racing, Denny Delivers, Motorsports Fan 17, Sir Reichenstein, and others. Thank you guys so much. So to start this off here, we're going to just introduce ourselves a little bit. Just kind of like, I know a majority of you guys kind of know who I am. But I'll just go ahead and repeat myself. So my name is Griffin Spear, aka Griff Dog. I am 26 years old, so I'm old. I'm one of the old farts of NASCAR YouTube, because it seems like everybody else is like in their lower 20s, upper teens, it seems like. So like soon I'm gonna be walking with a cane, if you will. So I've been on YouTube here since 2008 as a Griff 88 fan. I made a bunch of stop motion animations back in the day, and then I took a little bit of break, did some college, and then I eventually got into NR 2003, made a bunch of NR 2003 videos, a couple of what if videos, and and I just fell in love with both NASCAR and just the art of animation. And that's to a degree what this podcast is all about. So, Alex, go ahead and who are you? What is the man Sonic Rules 831?
All right, so I'll go ahead and actually I pointed this out before we started. Today's August 3rd, so 2 days ago, August 1st, was the 11th year anniversary that I made this channel. So I made August 1st, 2009 was when I made this channel. Which, you know, it feels like a long time ago, but also doesn't. The Sonic Rules thing, that's self-explanatory. As a kid, I was a huge Sonic the Hedgehog fan. Played a lot of the old Genesis games and, of course, later games. I love playing games like Sonic Heroes, Sonic Adventure 2, Sonic Adventure DX, stuff like that. And the 831... the 8 and 3 resemble Dale Jr., Dale Sr. It was originally going to be Sonic Rules 83, but it was taken. So I saw the one. I was like, okay, Truex did drive the one. I rooted for him too. So bam, A31. That's basically where the channel came from. So yeah, I've had the channel for a long time. I made a bunch of stupid stuff. I don't want to think about back then. I made a lot of indoor football videos. That's kind of how I got into the media aspect of things. I started editing videos more often through an indoor football team called the Cincinnati Commandos.
Okay.
Who, yeah, they played in this. It's not the Arena Football League. It was like it was a smaller league called the Continental Indoor Football League. And the 3 years that the team existed, they won the championship all 3 years. So they did more than the Cincinnati Bengals ever did in their 52-plus year history. So, yeah, so I did a lot of that. I filmed a bunch of plays from the game. The team knew who I was, and it actually landed me an internship with another indoor team that lasted half a season. And since then, I'll say it, yeah, I've made a lot of MLP content, did a lot of voice acting, a lot of different voices and stuff like that. And now I'm also trying to get more into the NASCAR content stuff. And as you saw, I'm working with a few friends on a project called Sunday Night Lights that's inspired off of your old One More Spark series.
Okay. How's that going so far?
Pretty good. I thought the prologue went pretty well. Right now, I didn't want any of us to get burnt out, so took a small break. Now we're setting up 1987, and we'll be starting to do races here pretty soon.
Cool. Good deal. So yeah, it's going to be me and Sonic Rules for the time being. For the first couple of episodes, it's going to be just us two. But eventually down the road, once we actually get this podcast rolling every week, we'll be down for other co-hosts and other people that are passionate about other aspects of NASCAR and or other aspects of animation or creativity, which we'll talk about. The main focus of this conversation is talk about the podcast as a whole and what we're going to be talking about in general. But first, one thing that is going to start here, and Alex, thanks for not reminding me as I've switched topics. So, no, that's fine. I remembered it right off the bat, so no worries. But
all right.
So since it is Monday night, the NASCAR race took place yesterday, and I think it'll be okay for every week that we talk about the NASCAR race and how it went down. Now, to be completely honest, I did not watch the race yesterday because I was setting up this podcast. All the graphics they see here and eventually back there. Yeah, that's I was working on that, but Alex did. So what were your thoughts on the race?
Yeah, so I was thrilled that they actually had some fans in attendance, spaced out and everything. So I think they had up to about 12,000, so that was good.
Okay.
The crowd sounded louder than 12,000. They were all happy to be at the track, so it put a smile on my face. I thought the race overall was pretty good. I thought there was some good racing. We saw some really good battles for the lead between Keselowski, Hamlin, and Blaney at points. Overall, it was a pretty good race, and Brad ended up winning the lobster.
He won the lobster. Yeah. So even though I didn't watch the race, I did check on social media. So I did catch the highlights. So off the bat, Bubba Wallace and Corey LaJoie, they had to drop to the back, and their crew chiefs were suspended. So no Jerry Baxter for the race, which is such a shame. Improperly mounted ballast is the reason why. And the reason why I knew that Jerry Baxter is the crew chief for Bubba was because he was the crew chief for Moffitt last year in the truck race. So, yeah, it's going to be... So, hold on. So, were they suspended for this New Hampshire race, or are they going to be suspended for the upcoming weekend at Michigan?
That's a good question. That's something that I'll have to go back and check. I knew it was for New Hampshire, because I remember when... That was a different situation when Denny Hamlin in the Coca-Cola 600, when that ballast just straight up fell out of his car during the pace lap.
Yeah.
That his crew chief got suspended for 4 races. So
yeah.
If anyone in the chat actually wants to just let us know, that'd be great, because trust me, I don't trust 100. I'm not a know-it-all or anything, so trust me, I will get stuff wrong, and I apologize.
That's okay. Hey, and it's better to trust a random person on the internet too, right?
Yeah.
No, I trust you guys. I love you guys. But Yeah, but speaking of struggles, how about Kyle Busch finishing last again?
Yeah, it's really weird because Kyle Busch has just been the most dominant driver in NASCAR,
Mm-hmm.
really the past decade. You know, you look at, as I said, if you were to ask me who was the dominant driver of the 2010s, if I look at the first half, Jimmy Johnson, you know,
Mm-hmm.
but Kyle Busch, you got to consider Kyle Busch as well. I think a lot of it has to do with I always believe that sometimes, or if a team wins a championship, they struggle the next season. I've always seen that as a track record, or because or even for NASCAR, even.
Yep.
But with Kyle, I think part of it has to do with COVID. If I can bring it up on the podcast, or
That's fine.
okay, the situation that's going on in the world right now. Of course, no practice, no qualifying. I think that's really hurting some guys and benefiting some guys. And I think one of the guys that's getting hurt by it is Kyle Busch,
Mm-hmm.
which is it's really weird to see. I still think he's going to get a win somewhere. I'll be stunned if he doesn't win a race at all this year. He's just that good. Um,
Yeah.
he won an Xfinity race, and then he won the one race where it got taken away
Mm-hmm.
due to him failing inspection. So it's very weird to see, but Kyle Kyle's still a great driver. It was weird because he ended up, I guess he ran over some sort of debris because his tire went down after 18 laps. I was like, wow, what happened? But
Mm-hmm.
so that's something to think about. But I think Kyle will turn it around, whether it's later this year or even next year. You know,
Yeah.
Kyle's still got plenty of years ahead of him in racing. He's just that good. So
Yeah, but maybe he should if he continues to stink, maybe he should fall back into the Xfinity series, run a season there, get a little better because he's so bad in the Cup series. Oh, but
Ty Gibbs is going to be replacing him in the future.
yeah, Ty Gibbs is the real GOAT, guys. You got better watch out for that for sure. But speaking of bad, Jimmy Johnson, he continues to spin and where did he finish in the race? Because he
He finished 11th.
11th. Okay.
Yeah,
It's
he fought back, so that's a
oh,
good thing.
good, good. Because so on Twitter, oh man, that was funny. On Twitter, I was like, yeah, Jimmy Johnson's gonna win. Oh, some of the responses, man. Some people are salty. I swear, man.
I
I
almost wanted to be funny with it and be like, don't do it. Don't
Yeah,
do it.
it's
It's
like,
not
oh,
worth it.
I see how it is, and like there's some people that want to like bust my kneecaps, and it's like, oh, okay, and it's just like, what?
Social media, social media.
I what's so social about social media? Am I right?
Pretty much.
Yeah, but
You're just typing behind a screen, basically.
exactly, exactly. Well, I'll let you guys know if some random kid on the internet comes to my place and wants to smack my kneecaps in. I'll let you guys know. I'll tweet about it at GriffDogYT. You should follow there if you haven't already. Anyway, so yeah, in the end, Brad K does win the lobster, and I want to give a shout out to the NASCAR social media team. Alex? Did you see that video where the
Yes, they
SpongeBob?
don't miss.
No, that was so funny. I haven't seen any action all day. And then Larry jumps out, and oh man, I'll link the tweet if you guys want to. I think you can put links in the live chat. I'm gonna
Yeah, you
try
should be
here.
able to.
Yeah, I have the link right here, so you guys have an idea what the heck I'm talking about here. But it's
Yeah.
so funny because you had Larry the Lobster, and it's funny because Brett K was holding the lobster, and let's see if I could post it in there. Okay, so the link's in there. So if you guys want to check that out, it's hilarious. Um, do you know where Ryan Blaney finished? I don't.
I'm sure I can pull up the results real fast.
I think it was
And
like 21st or something like that. Something really dumb. But yeah, because
yeah, let me check here.
I remember I think he was like battling for like the win in stage two. I think he might have finished like third or something like that. But then
Yeah,
I
he was
like,
20th.
ugh. Well, okay, I know he has that win, but so fun fact, Ryan Blaney is my favorite driver now in NASCAR. So just throwing that out there. But yeah, man. I mean, I know he has that win, but like, man, along with Jimmy and Eric Jones and Kyle Busch, man, he's just snake bit because there's so many wins that he could have had, like Las Vegas. He would have won if it weren't for the dumb caution that came out. And oh man, it's frustrating being a Blaney fan, but it is what it is. What it is.
Yeah, and talk about having bad days. Matt Kenseth had a really bad day.
Yeah,
I think he caused like 3 cautions.
I don't think Eric wants to talk about that.
Yeah, I felt I just can't help but feel bad. It's just like, jeez, that's just got to be like that's just you have a bad day, you pack up, you move on.
Yeah.
And you brought up Johnson struggling, and I wanted to make this quote because like since Junior retired, I've pretty much been rooting for the Hendrick guys.
Mm-hmm.
As a Junior fan, 2017 sucked. We know how you feel, but oh my goodness, I feel bad for Jimmy. Like I don't want him to go out this way with no fans being in the stands and the season he's having, and plus he had to miss the 400 because he was tested for it. So
yeah,
as you know, some people have put it up with just one word: pain.
pain. Yeah.
Lots and lots of pain.
So I guess my question to you is: do you think Johnson will win one more time before he goes out?
Well, I always believe never say never.
Even though
there have been times where,
right
yeah, I mean, I hope I don't jinx him. I probably have, but never say never. There have been times where Johnson has been up front, but then just something happens to him, and he's had the worst luck imaginable. So, never say never. I know Jimmy's giving it his all out there, and, you never know. Jimmy could come out and, win the Daytona road course race or something, pull off a big upset, and try and run for an 8th championship one more time.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll be that guy, and every single Sunday I'll go ahead and I'll tweet Jimmy's gonna win every single week. and hey, one time he'll be right. He'll be right, and then everyone on Twitter will be like, "Oh, bless you, Griffin, you finally got a prediction right," and then I'll just smile weekly.
Yeah.
So, anything else from New Hampshire?
I think that's about it for New Hampshire.
Oh, okay. I got one more thing. I wouldn't say it's because of his win, but Brad K did get a 1-year contract extension with the Deuce.
Yeah.
So, what are your thoughts on that?
I think a lot of us at the start of the season, I think everyone's dream was like Brad K to the 48 and all that, and I kind of thought about it first. I thought maybe that'd be the case with the crew chief changes. That I think that made me and a lot of others to think, oh, Brad might be leaving Penske. But, real quick, once the season restarted, I was like, you know what? I think Brad's going to stay at Penske. Mm-hmm. And I believe it's a 1-year extension.
Yes.
So
yep,
that's interesting. Of course, one guy you need to think about is Austin Cindric. When is he going to come up?
Yeah.
So... does he take the 2? Does he take 4th car? What does Brad do?
Mm-hmm.
You never know. So,
yeah,
I had a feeling. I had a feeling he'd return to the 2. Right now, he looks like a guy who can win a championship. So, that's pretty much that.
Yeah, and so it's a little side tangent that what I've kind of noticed with Keselowski is it's really funny, and I don't know it's necessarily with the economy or how everything is, but like. With the Deuce back in the day, like you knew him as like the blue Deuce, like the Miller Lite like ToonCar. But nowadays, like he has so many different sponsors that you have like no idea like what car he's gonna drive every single week. And the thing, go for it.
I remember you were talking about that in a video a few years back. I think it might have been one of your Griff Talks videos or one of your Diecast episodes.
Really?
I just remember you were talking about stuff like, back then it was Jeff Gordon drove the DuPont car. Now it's Chase Elliott drives the Hooters, Sun Energy One, Duty First, Napa.
Yes.
I think it's an economic thing.
Yeah.
I personally believe it's just, the economy and what these companies can afford, especially after the recession happened in 2008 and obviously now again in 2020.
Yeah.
So,
well, the thing I was going to bring up is like, now I'll just say right now, and I'll be honest, like I really cannot relate to Brad K, and I'm not necessarily a big fan of Brad K. One big reason he's part of Team Cup Leeches, like he's part of that group of drivers who were in the Cup Series but ran a bunch of nationwide and Xfinity races. But
Mhm.
I don't know, like it's just one of those things where like he's trying to be like hip, and he like says every pit reporter's first name before he gives his interviews, and like I get that, but I don't know. Like I kind of wish like DiBenedetto would step up and he would take the deuce, and then Brad K can either take the 48 or go to like another ride. But I know that Keselowski has fans, and I know, and if I remember correctly, like I New Hampshire. I mean, of course, I didn't watch the race, but some people like were chanting like Brad's name, and they were
Yeah.
like cheering for him. So like that's great. But I don't know. Like I just like I know I'm definitely ruffling some feathers on the first episode. Am I right? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I respect Brad, but I don't know. It's difficult for me to really become like a fan of his. But hey, I mean, he has 3 wins right now. He's definitely on a hot streak, and hey, if he can go out there and be part of the next big three or whatever the case may be, then hey, good for him. And with Austin Cindric too, like it's gonna be interesting. Like I honestly thought that Cindric would like take the 21 ride, and then DiBenedetto would then take the two. I
Hmm.
thought that would be the order because Cindric, because this is what is now third full season in the Xfinity series now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, how long is he going to be in the Xfinity series for? Like, and then I guess the other question on top of that is like, is he even ready for the Cup Series? You know.
Yeah. And here's an interesting factor I've thought about recently. Originally, the next gen car was going to debut next year.
Right.
But thanks to the pandemic, it's going to debut in 2022. So if you're a driver coming up, do you go to Cup? You drive 1 year out of the Gen 6. You learn how to race with the Cup guys and race on that level, and then have to relearn a new car, or do you wait for that new car for 2022?
Hmm. That'll be interesting. I wonder if some drivers are thinking the same way that you are. It'll be it'll be interesting. It'll be very interesting to see how that all goes down.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Anything else in regards to the NASCAR stuff?
I think that's about it.
Okay, cool. So one thing I do want to acknowledge in terms of like the NASCAR stuff, like so what's going to happen is, because this is Monday night, we'll talk about the NASCAR race from the day before. But this is not like a NASCAR news like podcast show. That's not the main, what do you call it? Like the main butter? Is that what do you call it? The main course or whatever? It's not,
Hmm.
yeah, it's not like we're not gonna like talk about all the different news stuff. Like that's what the NASCAR Weekly podcast is for. What I'm more focused on is kind of like the what ifs, the creative side. Like I love talking about the idea of like different like drivers and different like a route that we could go down to is like where would Bubba Wallace go next year? Will he be in the 43? Will he be in the 42? Will he be in the 48? Or will he go somewhere else?
Yeah.
That's the stuff I love talking about. But in terms of like new stuff, like I honestly don't care about that. So, I guess while we're talking about Bubba, I'll just go ahead and say I think he'll go to the 42 car next year. I think he'll go over to
Yeah.
the Ganassi team. It seems like a great place, and even though Bubba Wallace has his shtick with RPM and possibly having an owner stake in it, like it sounds interesting, and with all the momentum that he has, some good may happen. But I'd rather have like him go out and actually like show his worth in a competitive car, and
Yeah.
then maybe go ahead and do like an ownership route.
Yeah. I personally think Bubba to the 42. I just think nothing against RPM. And, RPM's doing what they can to keep Bubba. They're trying to get all the sponsors and even the ownership stake, which means that other teams are talking to Bubba. So,
Mm-hmm.
uh, personally, I think he goes to the 42, and obviously he's been a candidate for the 48 as well.
Mm-hmm. Now, because so one thing that I'm a big stickler for is for everyone to have their own like identities.
Yeah.
So if I were like the overlord of NASCAR, if you will,
Mhm.
if Bubba goes to the second Ganassi car, he gets a new number. I think he gets
Okay.
a brand new number that's not 42. And I say that he drives number 34. Even though Michael McDowell has 34, they can switch over to like 36 or something like that. Bubba has
True.
34 because of well, it's a little contradictory, but because of Wendell Scott.
Okay,
Yeah,
I see what you mean.
yeah, because you remember back in 2013 or 2014 that Bubba Wallace drove the 34 truck at Martinsville, and then he won
Yeah.
there. Yeah,
Hmm.
so that's why I would say 34, or just do a completely different number on his own, like a number that he. But that's a problem though. I don't know Bubba's history, so like I don't know like what number he had. Like, well, he had six. He drove a six car when he drove in the K&N East series, so
Hmm.
that could be an idea. But so actually, chat. What number do you think Bubba Wallace should drive in the Cup Series next year? That's not 42. And then while the chat's doing that, Alex, what number would you think that Bubba should have?
Oh man, that's a good question. If I were to stick with like Ganassi's past, maybe 40, because
Yeah.
40 was a pretty iconic number. Going back to the Sapco days, of course, with Sterling Marlin. Yeah, my friend Thunderwolf just brought it up to
Yeah,
the number
classic
40.
CGR 40. Yep. Yeah. Yeah,
And
that's not a bad idea for sure.
see if you can grab Coors Light as a sponsor. Bring back the old silver bullet. Let's go.
Streams Dev 99 in trucks. Ooh, that'd be interesting because one of Kurt Busch and then 99. So like literally have the ends. Ooh,
Yeah.
that'd be interesting. Plus, I also had Bubba in the 99 car in the 2016 Summer Showdown. That's right.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's see some others. Corvette Racing 34. He agrees.
Okay.
CCX 11 34, 40 or 41. Denny Delivers 45. That's different, but maybe explain like a little reason as to why 45. But
Maybe like a Adam Petty kind of tribute.
I could see that. But but I can ask you though. That's I don't know. I mean, I like it. 44 also works too. Motorsports Fan
Yeah.
77. Okay, we can continue talking about that later. But let's see. One more thing. Corvette Racing 48. Give Bubba the 34. Move Kurt Busch to the 42. Okay, so one is available. All right, so I think we'll get off this topic now, but yeah, so we can talk a little bit about NASCAR and a little bit of kind of like the what ifs and possibilities here. Like I love talking about that stuff, and we can do
Yeah.
that every single week. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to switch topics here. Thank you, Alex, for not reminding me again. All right.
Bad tracker.
It's okay. So the main topic. So the main focus of this episode is talking about like the podcast itself. And I've kind of alluded to it like earlier before about kind of just creativity and what's going on here. So the first thing I wanted to talk about is the actual name of this podcast called the ToonCar Tandem Podcast. So first of all, it is like two-car tandem. That's kind of the play on words. Like you have the two-car tandem like in 2011 and you had like the two cars going together. And the reason why I think two is because like yeah, this podcast will have a bit of a focus on NASCAR. But one thing that I've absolutely wanted to talk about as well is like animation, cartoons, a little bit of anime here and there as well. And just to really, it's such a niche thing, and I know that not many people would like that. But my biggest thing is creativity, and like the opportunities to be creative in both, like is huge. Like all of the people that are making stuff in NR 2003, and then all of the different paint schemes, all the different like racetracks that are being made, all the different banners, all the memes, all the logos, all the little fake fan commercials. Like there's so many like creative possibilities. And with this podcast, that's really the biggest goal is to really kind of like help like spark some ideas and to help like other people like create like some other ideas as well. And that's going back to like what ifs. And so like the whole like what if of like as we said, like what if Bubba does go to like Ganassi and like what number would he drive, what sponsors would he have, which will probably be McDonald's. And so like if anyone in the chat or anybody listening later on in the replay wants to like create a number, let's just say for example a number 99 McDonald's Chevrolet that Bubba will drive in 2021, go ahead and make that car. And then in the Discord, in my Discord, which will be in the description below, you guys can show it off, and you guys can show off your like all the swirls, all the white lines, all of the number font. Like that stuff is what I'm interested and passionate about, and that's kind of my first step, if you will, into getting back into Griff Dog is to like make more content again, because I've been burnt out for years, like ever since I got the full-time job. But what's changed is now that I have my own place, like I literally in this apartment am living by myself. I mean, I have a roommate, but my roommate is working right now. So like I have the place to myself. And so I honestly feel so creatively free when I'm not working. And I think this podcast is going to be a good step in the right direction, I think. Doing this once a week and so like every other week we'll have a major focus on either NASCAR and or animation of some sort. So yeah, before I continue, Alex, do you have any thoughts?
Honestly, I can't think of anything at the moment.
That's okay. I ramble. I'm good at that. When I get
I can't
nervous,
do sometimes.
when I'm nervous, I ramble on and I start talking a lot. But that's okay. That's okay, because this is this is the first episode. This is a dry run through, and thank you guys all for the support and watching us struggle here. But but I don't think we're struggling so far. I feel like this is pretty good so far. It's
yeah,
all
this
right.
this is a good first day of school where you get your syllabus and you learn what you'll be doing throughout the school year.
Exactly. What everyone's learning for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So next thing I wanted to just show is kind of the display here. As you can see, you got some graphics below and some other stuff here. So I'll just show you guys kind of a brief rundown. First of all, here on the left, you got your guys' chats. So instead of having like the automatic chat like on the what do you call it? Like on YouTube, like it's already on the screen. And kind of a big reason why I'm doing it is because it's dark over here. I mean, I can go ahead and I could turn on a light if I want to. And that's not bad, actually. That's not bad at all. All right. Never mind. I guess we're going to leave the light on. It's lit. Anyway, so we got the little chat wall here. And then behind me is the mirror. And so sometimes you can like see my butt in the mirror. And kind of a couple of reasons why. First of all, you can see a little behind the scenes of like my setup. But also because like when I'm not like doing this podcast, while I work on my animations and drawings, I use the mirror as kind of like a reference, if you will. So if I want to reference like a different pose or whatever, I could look at myself and I could realize like where the arm is placed and how much bigger is the arm in perspective as opposed to like the head and body, if you will. So then on the bottom here, I have a little rolling ticker here. And so if you guys have been reading that at all, yeah, I really like that. And every week I'm going to go ahead and I'll spice things up and add little different things. Like for example, the top 10s. I'll go ahead and I'll add like the top 10s from every like race, just to something a little different. Bottom left, is that bottom left? Yeah, is the logo for the podcast. And then over here on the right, it's when, come on. Yeah, right here. Is like the little sign for when I'm moving on to different like topics. And that's going to be the rundown. You will have an intro, which is 1, and then you got the race, which will be number 2. Number 3 then is the main topic, which is what we're on right now. And then the other ones that I have are then Ask Us Anything, and we'll talk more about that later. And then we'll finally have like a little outro. Let's see if I can fix this. Turn this off. If I can turn this off. Yeah. And then we'll outro, and then we'll talk about next week's topic. And so that'll visually be there. So like if you guys want to like, let's just say if there's people that here that are not interested in the NASCAR stuff and they're interested in whatever animation thing we're talking about, they can then time skip up to that part where we talk about whatever animation thing is going on. So let's bring this back up to the main topic. And then the last thing that you guys have not seen yet that I hope to have more often, if you will. So you see that back corner here? You got the Gravity Falls poster there. You got the Steven Universe poster there. OKKO poster there. And then you have all of the display stand here. So you got like Ron Hornaday there, Dale Jr., Elliott Sadler, Dale Jr.'s amp car, all of that stuff's there. But the part that is fun, and I don't know, like I love these little like clever things. So you got the Gravity Falls poster here, right? So if someone subscribes to me, right there. So you got Dipper Pine saying stuff to you, and it's like whoever subscribes or whatever, it's right there. And so there's that, and then like if I do like a membership, you got Stan Pines spiking the football. If you do a donation on Streamlabs, you got Wendy dancing, go 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 go. Thank you for the donations, and then super chats. You got Mabel giving a thumbs up, saying thank you for the super chat. And I just love the cleverness because it's like that is right in front of the Gravity Falls poster, and I really enjoy the little clever things like that. So,
Cool.
yeah.
I like that.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, and so of course this is the first, the first draft, if you will, and so over time we'll fix it up as need be. Like for example with the lights, and if you can see, very small. I got a couple of 164 die casts there, including Ryan Blaney's Roval win, Bowman, Elliott, and a few others. And yeah, that is that. Alex, you got anything else to say?
I think it's really cool what you got set up there, and yeah, I guess at one point we ought to talk about diecast at some point too. Now that you
Oh,
brought that up.
absolutely, yes. And we can definitely get some diecast people in there. Like, I want to get like Gino Harvey, ACS Racing Network. I would love to get him on, and we can talk shop about diecasts. Oh, I would love
Yeah.
that. Yes. So yeah, absolutely, we will talk about diecast at some point for sure. So the last thing then that we'll talk about in terms of the podcast is kind of just the goal, and I talked about this a little bit like a few minutes ago, but so the first goal is just creating new ideas. I want this to be like a space where we can like spark some new ideas, get a couple of like not just one more spark, if you will, ha ha ha. but but you know, like spark some ideas. Like for example, earlier the idea of Bubba Wallace driving a number 99 McDonald's Chevy for Chip Ganassi Racing. Like if someone on Inter 2003 wants to paint that car, go for it. It's not patented or anything like that. You guys can create that car. You guys can create your own 2021 rosters. It would be pretty cool.
Oh
But
yeah.
but then like down the road, and like the thing is, again, I want to just jump between NASCAR and animation. And so like one idea that I know it's not gonna get that much attention from the NASCAR crowd, but going back to Gravity Falls, I would love to have a deep conversation about what if there was a season 3 of Gravity Falls.
Ooh.
And we can go like really in depth with that, talk about the show as a whole, and kind of like what would be some of the aspects that would be developed more in the third season. And then we can even answer the question of like, do we even need a third season, or is it
Yeah.
like perfect after season 2? But that's again for a whole nother episode. But yeah, and again, different story ideas, different like again NASCAR ideas, create different commercials. Like I really want to like use this podcast to really create a new like base, if you will, a new community, if you will, a creative community, if you will. And I want to get back into creating stuff myself as well. And so one of the things that I'm going to be working on while doing this podcast is animations. And so I think I've told you guys before, but I'm in the middle of a animation course, I guess what you would call it, an online course. And I've been doing little like animation work like on the side, just working on my animation skills, and hopefully I can create like some like animated NASCAR shorts that are actually like confidently made. That would be cool, and I can get some voice actors like you, Alex, in there, and other people, and like I could, and it would be super cool. And of course, it'll take some time to get there. But like, if I could like implement that into like Inter 2003, like perfectly, fantastic.
Yeah.
That would be so cool if I could like,
Dude, that'd be epic.
yeah. But of course, it's not going to be for a while, and that's what this podcast is
Yeah.
for, is like taking those small steps so that I can create and eventually make a living out of it. Because like, I mean, this job that I have right now, like, I don't want to be there forever, you know?
Right.
And so like if I can make a living out of creating like stuff like animations, and if I could do stuff with Inter 2003 for fantastic. That would be absolutely fantastic, and I have no problems with that whatsoever. It's going to take some
Yeah.
time though for me to get Inter 2003 set up and to get like that ball rolling. But again, it's going to take time for sure. And so along those lines, play with existing ideas, and that's kind of what I was talking about, like the idea of what ifs, and kind of like taking things that already exist and then like manipulating them And like, how could
Yeah.
we like take the Lego city, if you will, dismantle it, and turn it into that huge freaking dinosaur that we all know and love, if you will.
A man has fallen into the river in Lego City. I just had to do that. I'm sorry.
Thanks. Now we're gonna be sponsored by Lego now. Buy Legos now. Use the code below and you get 15% off your next purchase. No.
There you go.
Oh man, can you imagine if we get sponsors for this? That'd be amazing. Anyway, so yeah, just playing with existing ideas. The next thing is what we're doing right now, and just having fun, chill conversations, talking about again animation, NASCAR, talk about life in general. Just have chill conversations. Don't get too worked up in the politics and whatnot. Um, yeah, there's one that works for Windows 10. Yeah. Again, we'll work on that with the 2003 stuff. I'm not there yet. But yeah, no, just having some nice chill conversations and just getting creative. Creative ideas is all that I care about. And then lastly, and this is on a more, I guess, personal note, yeah, ever since I got the full-time job back in it's almost 3 years ago to the day, actually. I've been struggling hard to try to keep this channel afloat. Like, because like I was working on One More Spark at the time, and the winter of 2018 can kick my I want to swear, but my arse. I hated 2018 so much because I was working 50 to 60 hours a week while trying to work on One More Spark 1987, and that drove me insane. And and I don't even know if I've even recovered from that, honestly. But like I put so much on my shoulders, and like I'm not perfect, like at all. Like one thing that I know I struggle with is like having everything be on my shoulders and having it be like all my responsibility. Like with One More Spark 1987, like again, I ran the Cup Series, the Busch Series, and IROC, and I did like 25% races for all of them, and I did like CCM and did like highlights for all of them. And like in March of 2018, I crashed, ended up making like a Harry Potter video. And then I thought, maybe I can do like a pilgrimage trip to North Carolina to help me out. And it did, because it gave me the inspiration to work on the 2018 Summer Showdown. Yeah. So, but then in 2019, when I got Windows 10, it was so weird because what happened was I moved files from Windows 7 over to Windows 10, like the Enter 2003 files, because I thought I was going to commit to the new laptop. But then when I saw that CCM didn't work on the new laptop, I thought, oh, okay, I could just go back to the old laptop. But I guess I moved some like files that I guess should not have been moved, because then I could not even do CCM on Windows 7 anymore. And that's why I kind of like was freaking out, and then I kind of went down this rabbit hole of the animation route, because it's like trying to find my purpose, if you will. And don't get me wrong, like I still love the animation side, but as many times as I try to like leave the NASCAR side, something was dragging me back. There was something there, that creativity. There's that little niche that like, and again, I'm not to sound narcissistic, but like there's something there that I feel like that I could do, or that I could help with, like help with the community out and continue to like, show NASCAR for what it is and why it is such a great, sport. And so, and of course, 2019 happened, where of course my brother passed, which was, that was a lot to deal with anyway. I've really been struggling hard, and you keep talking about like a spark. So one thing I wanted to mention too, sorry, I'm rambling here. You guys remember these streams, like all the streams that I did back in like October, like how many streams I did, like 20 or whatever? I was just not in a good mental state at that time, because like I thought if I could like continue to stream and continue to like show myself to like make content, I thought that would like help me in any sense, but that's not true. That's no, that was not really fun. Not really fun. I was definitely just mentally not in a good place at all. But what I honestly think has helped is moving out. I absolutely think moving out, getting my own place, has really helped me mentally just clearly think. And yeah, and for the longest time, I've always wanted to do a podcast. I mean, back in 2018, I did the Griffin to Cast, and it had like all of 4 episodes. Which fun fact, the if you want to go back to the what was it, the 3rd episode, the only time I had a guest, he's my roommate now, which is so funny how the world like comes together. But yeah, no. So even though it's been really difficult for me these past few years to try to like stay afloat, I do feel better. I actually do. Like seriously, I do. I do. Oh, Isaac, love you too, buddy. Isaac S. Yeah, I went to Charlotte with him back in 2018. Great guy. Anyway, yeah, no, I definitely feel like I'm in a better place now, and I'm ready to do this podcast once a week just to get things going. And yeah, if I could get back into doing Enter 2003 stuff, little, and I cannot emphasize that enough. Little steps. I cannot do these like huge leaps and bounds and commit to anything super huge because that'll burn me out again. And again, like I'm a creator. Like I love making things. I love expressing ideas through visuals. Like I'm totally a visual guy. And yeah, I want to pursue that further. And I think YouTube is the way to go with that. So I've rambled for a little while there. So yeah, I guess Alex, you got any last thoughts here before we get into questions?
Oh yeah, I mean, hey, it's all good. It's understandable. I mean, for me, I work a night shift, a very very night shift, if you know what I mean. And I work around it. Just I make whatever I can. I would love to. I do other things. I have another podcast I do with my friend Michael Klein. It's called the Dropping the Hammer Racing Hour. It's on a site called The Grilling Truth. That's a racing. Talk the talk kind of podcast. We've had guys like Bill Lester and Ryan Vargas on there in the past. So yeah, I do that. I've actually been doing up until the pandemic happened. I was actually doing some play-by-play of high school athletic events. I did football in the fall, basketball in the winter, and I'm hoping for football in the fall. We'll just have to wait and see what happens. And this stuff, of course. So just keep myself occupied and doing stuff that I want to do.
That's awesome, man. Cool. Well, before we get into questions, I just want to again thank you again so much, Alex, for helping me with this podcast. I could have done this by myself, honestly, but no, I think having you here, it definitely leaves a lot of weight off my shoulders. And again, I thank you so much for doing this with me.
Yeah, no problem. I thank you for bringing me on. I was pretty excited about it when you pitched the idea to me, and I love doing this kind of stuff, and I'm looking forward to doing many more of these with you.
Cool. Awesome. All right, so let's get a little more light topic-y here. So let's move on here to topic number 4, and thank you again, Alex, for not reminding me.
0 for 3. 0 for 3.
It's becoming a meme now. All right.
Yep.
So the next thing is ask us anything. Now, what I plan to do here, and I'm gonna be honest, like I do want to try to, I hate talking about this, but like, so money wise, I'm okay. But any like thing financially that could help, like with this podcast and anything like that, through super chats or Streamlabs or anything like that, would be greatly appreciated. And so one way to help with that is like if you guys do send a super chat as like a question, we will answer that question here on the podcast. But of course, like that's farther down the road, and but otherwise, the other route for answering questions is on Discord. And so a little plug for the Discord here. I'm trying to like kind of grow that, and there's quite a few people on there already. But I have a section in there where it has the podcast, and there's an area where it's questions. And you can ask any question you want. It could be about NASCAR, it could be about animation, it could be about life, it could be about animals, whatever tickles your fancy. So, with that being the case here, we did get a couple of questions here from the first week, if you will. And I guess we'll go ahead and we'll start with that. So the first question here comes from Jimmy Johnson 07, and I'll ask you this first, Alex. And he asks, "What is the best thing about being a YouTuber?"
Honestly, it's just having an ability to create content. That's something I always loved about YouTube. Ever since I discovered it way back in like 2007, that's when I first discovered it. And then I always, even then, I was like, I wonder if I should make a channel and like make my own stuff. And it's just like, oh, this is so cool. I can, there's so many great things about being a YouTuber. It's just you're passionate about something, you want to make stuff on it. This is a great site to do it on, and that's something I always loved about it. It's just for me right now, it's a fun hobby. I love making YouTube videos.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, for me, it kind of goes along those lines, but just the fact that, excuse me, that I can be like creative, and I can like, if I have any ideas in mind, and I could use YouTube as a platform to really show off that creativity, and then the side effect from that is the community that is built around, um, all the stuff that I've made. And what's crazy was when I would say when my peak, because I think my peak was like in 2017.
Hmm.
Like there really wasn't much of like a community, like a NASCAR like YouTuber community. I think, at least from my end, because I wasn't really like connecting with anybody in like the NASCAR space. It was really
Right.
until I got the full time job when like the group really like came together, and you had like Joseph Lombard, Eric Estep, and Darian, and everyone was like collaborating all of a sudden. And then it's like I got the full time job, and it's like, wait, I can do this too. But then, but
Yeah.
I mean, and I was able to make a couple of collabs here and there, but like I totally want to do more collaborations for sure. Like that would be a lot of fun to do that. Like do more of that, if you will. Kind of like the 10 Wears challenge, which you collaborated in, which was really fun.
Mhm.
I missed that, but
That was fun.
yeah, exactly. And that's the thing too. It's just a good way to have fun is with YouTube as well. So yeah, Alex, you want to go ahead and pick the next question?
Yeah. So the next question is from Shane. Um, Thoughts on Close Enough, which I unfortunately have not seen. I've seen a few clips of it, but you might be able to answer that a little bit better.
Yeah. So first of all, it's not regular show, but it's close enough. I mean,
He's dead the thing.
I can leave if you want. Anyway, no, I have to run this podcast anyway. So if you guys didn't know, Close Enough is I was about to say podcast. It's not a podcast. It's an animated show that is on HBO Max, and it's created by the same guy who created regular show, JG Quintel. And the way I can summarize Close Enough is that it is like regular show, but like older, like for like adults, because they're a lot more like lenient with kind of like the profanity and nudity and all that stuff. And I personally enjoyed it. I really did like it. It's a lot more humanized, and like Saber Spark, who's a cartoon reviewer, he talked about Close Enough, and like he kind of likes more of the like the animal. What are they called? Like animal people? Is there a name for that? Not. Is it furries? Is that what they're called?
What, like half human, half animal?
Yeah, that's not what a furry is it? Oh man, I'm gonna be blasted on
Uh,
the spots. I thought there's more like a what's it called? It's like yeah, it's like you know what I mean, where it's like Mordecai, who's
yeah.
like he's a
Wasn't it
woodpecker, but he's like a human woodpecker. You know
wasn't it
what I
like
mean?
anthro or something like that?
Anthropomorphic. Yeah, that's it.
That's what it was. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Okay, yeah. So he likes those more anthropomorphic shows, but I like the more human shows. And Denny delivers. What am I talking about? We're talking about a animated show called Close Enough. And yeah, there you go. Anthropomorphic. Yeah. Okay. Oh man, I'm gonna put on the spot because I said furry. Anyway, so anyway, so I personally enjoyed Close Enough, and I think the big thing that I loved about it is the animation style. Because the way how they look, you got like the eyes are like close together, kind of like Gravity Falls, actually. Like to a degree, it's a lot like Gravity Falls, actually. It's just such simple, nice looking like characters, but then they go on such like adult esque like shenanigans, And
Hmm.
yeah, the characters are in their like low 30s, and like they have a kid, and there's no like through line story in this show. It's what do you call it, episodic, or like each episode is like its own self-contained thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, overall, I enjoy it, and I hope they do make more episodes of Close Enough in the future because, yeah, I highly recommend it. And if you guys have HBO Max, it's on there right now. So, with that being said, let's move on to the next question from Doritos and Mountain Dew on Discord, and he asks, favorite sport besides NASCAR? I'll answer this at first, and ooh, like it varies day by day. I'll say favorite to watch and then favorite to play. So favorite to watch is football, just because like I am a football kid. Like I played football in middle school, played it in high school, almost played it in college, but decided not to focus on my work or on my studies as well as track. I see. So track and field is interesting because a little fun fact, but I was a sprinter in track for 8 years. I did 4 years in high school and then 4 years in college. And even though like track it was fun, like the community of it is fun, just the fact that you're running the entire time is not really fun. So my favorite sport to play is ultimate frisbee. I love that sport. And if there's any way I could like get a bunch of guys together and we'd play ultimate frisbee, oh, that's so fun.
Hmm.
Yeah. Do you know what ultimate frisbee is, Alex?
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Okay. Yeah. So like, but like, so to you guys that don't know what ultimate frisbee is, it's pretty much like, oh, it's hard to explain. I mean, if you want to just want to look it up, like, so you pretty much it's you play on like a soccer field or football field, and it's like you pretty much throw a frisbee like downfield, and everyone's a wide receiver. Like, there's no like blocking or anything like that, and everyone tries to like get open, and like what you do is you like throw the frisbee, and then when you catch the frisbee, you stop. Like you cannot move any further, and then everyone around you then is open to try to get the frisbee downfield. And again, it is so fun to play. Like I just love just sprinting downfield, and then the frisbee is wide open. And oh, you know what? Actually, that reminds me. One of the videos that I made back in 2015, I actually wore a GoPro on my head during a ultimate frisbee match.
Ooh.
Oh
Okay.
yeah. Oh man, can you link videos in the chat? Oh
I'm
man.
pretty sure you can.
Okay. So, Alex, when you explain what your favorite sport besides NASCAR is, I'll go ahead and I'll link that video.
Sure thing. So, I enjoy any kind of sport. From like Griff, it differs by day. If I were to pick one, baseball. I played baseball when I was younger. I also played basketball when I was younger. Um, Speaking of football, as an off-topic thing,
Mm-hmm.
if you heard the XFL, The Rock and an investor group is going to buy the XFL, and they're going to possibly get back to play in 2021. So, yes, finally something good to happen in 2020. But
Yeah.
I'm excited about that. Um, Plus, I suffer enough as a Cincinnati Bengals fan. Yeah, it's just, yep. Ohio has two factories of sadness: the Browns and the Bengals. Um,
Two
uh,
factories of sadness. I'm sorry.
it's okay. I live in northern Kentucky, so. But yeah, I play baseball and basketball. I can watch pretty much anything. Hockey, St. Louis Blues, defending Stanley Cup champs. Hopefully, they can turn it back around after losing last night. In terms now, you brought up playing ultimate frisbee. So at my high school, this sport you probably haven't heard of it before. This was invented at my high school.
Hmm.
Um, it's called Hantus.
Never heard of it.
So basically, I used to play it on high schools have club days, right? So I was in the Hantus club, and it was invented at my high school. And basically, think of it as like you got these four small tables, like four square,
Mm-hmm.
and you have a tennis ball, and you're bouncing it off the tables. You could play it off the walls, do all these insane tricks that you can, and get people out.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's like that in table tennis a little bit. It was a lot of fun. Like I enjoyed playing it. It's called Hantis, Hantis. I might type it in the chat when I can, but
Okay.
yeah, yeah,
Interesting.
yeah,
Very interesting.
it's a lot of fun.
All right. Okay, I might check that out later.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get through these other questions here. So Jimmy Johnson
Mm-hmm.
07 sneaked in another question. Normally we'll just go ahead and we'll only answer one question from each person, but just we'll let it slide this first time because first day. But Jimmy Johnson 07 asked favorite NASCAR video game in a year other than Inter 2003. Let's just throw that away for now.
Okay.
So no Inter 2003, but
Okay.
it's a toss up, but I'm gonna say Dirt to Daytona is my favorite like console video game. I would spend literally hours trying to make the perfect big one at Talladega. That's how dedicated I was. When I was like 10 or 11, like, yeah, I would, like, if I had like a Saturday off, I was in the basement and I would like load up hardcore physics, go to Talladega, and there's a way. Like, if you go in turn two and if you spin like curve push at the right angle, you will get the entire field.
Oh wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah, yeah. And gosh, if there's a way, I think I'm pretty sure there's like a PS2 like emulator, and if I can get that all like set up, I would love to like stream like old NASCAR video games on here and just have some fun with that. So, yeah. What about you, Alex?
Oh gosh, for me it's a toss up between Thunder '04 and '06.
Really?
You know, yeah, NASCAR Thunder 2004. I know a lot of people claim that as peak NASCAR gaming, kind of,
Mm-hmm.
or at least on the console. And although that was the first game I actually got that was not rented, because how I discovered NASCAR, and I guess I'll talk about this another time, was renting NASCAR Thunder 2003 at this place called Blockbuster. And
That place.
yeah, oh man,
That takes me back. Yeah.
those were the days.
Those were the days.
Yeah, so yeah, Thunder '04. I love the career mode and how in depth it was. And it just felt like there was a lot to do. The soundtrack obviously is amazing. And '06, I guess I really loved the idea of like getting enough money, or if if you wanted to do a cheat code and like buying a team. So like if I wanted to do the cheat codes, I could join DEI and have Truex, Mikey, and Dale Jr. all win a bunch of races and stuff. I always found that was fun. Dirt to Daytona, though, also a very good game. I enjoyed playing that.
Mm-hmm. So the little fun fact about Dirt to Daytona, and we can do this as its own like podcast in the future. But did you know Dirt to Daytona was actually made in Minnesota?
Really?
Yep. Yeah, all of
Okay.
and the reason why I know this is because if you look at all of the dirt and modified tracks in that game, all the tracks are named after Minnesota cities.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Yeah, like for example, Mankato, which is a modified track on there. I actually went to college there.
Huh.
Yeah, small world. I know. It's like what the heck? Like I
How
thought
about that?
I know. I thought it was like pure coincidence. But like Anoka, Elk River, Baxter, yeah, they're all cities in Minnesota. So
That's
yeah,
interesting. Okay.
yeah. There's your nugget of the day, chat.
The more you know.
Exactly. Yeah, I need a gif of the rainbow above my head. Diddling. All right, let's get through these other questions here. So next question from Ferris K1: What or who were some of your favorite content creators when you started making videos, projects, etc.? How much did they influence your work? Alex, why don't you take this one first? I need to think about this a little bit.
Ooh, okay, this is good. If I want to go way the heck back, one channel I started watching that was really good with art and animation was a channel called Project SNT. It was a Sonic YouTube channel. Made like her own characters and just the animations of it, the fun little shorts that she made were pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh, in terms of NASCAR, I'd have to go to many years later. It all started honestly with discovering Griff's "What If Dale Hart" series, and it blossomed into that.
Oh, geez.
You know, yeah, you to Iceberg to Darian to Danny B and everybody else. In terms of favorite content creators when they started making videos, I'm trying to think who else because man, it feels like quite a long time ago.
Mm-hmm. I get that a lot. Like when everyone says like, "Man, I love your Dylan Hart videos," and it's like it blows my mind just how much that series has exploded. And like especially and again, I want to do a separate podcast episode on this. Like I wanted to do like a What If Dylan Hart Was Still Alive 2.0 in the future.
Ooh. Yeah,
And
okay.
and one of the biggest regrets I have of that series was how much of a joke I made the first video, because I made like little like memes, because like I sucked at talking. I mean, I'm still not the best at talking, but I was awful at it, and like I didn't do any like broadcasting or anything, and I like had little jabs at myself. That video has like 60,000 views, and it's like, why? Why does that joke have to have so many views? And fun fact too, I did not monetize that video. So yeah,
Oh yeah.
I did not get any money from that video. And actually, the first video I ever monetized was actually part 6, rolling through the changes. That was the first video I ever
Okay.
monetized. So yeah, could I have gotten some money out of that What If series? Possibly, but hey, I was more worried about actually like making the videos out there. I was not expecting it to be as big as it was. So,
Yeah, the first video that I ever had monetized has not happened yet.
oh,
I've a- I've actually never monetized my videos yet for
really?
whatever reason.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, see, I respect that, because the stuff that you make is more like, again, like hobby stuff, and you're more interested in the actual content versus like getting views, right?
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's funny. So my turn. Okay, so I'm kind of everywhere, if you will. Some NASCAR, some not. I'll kind of go through the list here of people that I'm influenced by. So I guess first off, like one or two channels that I actually kind of followed, and it's kind of a big inspiration for my Griff Talk series. Do you guys know who like Chris Stuckman is? The movie film review guy. He
I think I've heard that name.
Yeah, he would just literally sit there and he'll like review like movies, and kind of the way how he talks about them is kind of interesting. So him, and then John Flickinger is the other one. The Flick Pick is his YouTube name, and he does the same thing. He talks about movies and stuff like that. And actually, recently he started his own weekly live show, and ironically enough, it's on right now. And actually, like, so for example, the crawling text that you see below me, actually, I was inspired from him. Actually, John Flickinger, the Flick Pick, because he has his own like little scrolling text on his live show as well. And I thought, hey, I might as well I could do that as well. So in terms of animation, not much. The real big one I could think of is have you guys heard of Ed's World before?
Yes.
Yeah, I started getting into them like in the late 2000s, early 2010s, and yeah, it's such a shame that Ed had to pass so soon, but his
Yeah.
videos were so hilarious.
Oh yeah. And they actually just released a new
Yeah,
video the other day.
I saw that. Yeah, I
Yeah.
watched that. I loved it. Yeah.
Me too.
So yeah, I saw so the Ed's World. Who are some other people? So the my mentor actually that for the animation stuff, his name is Howard Wimshurst. I'll go ahead and I'll type that into the chat here. So Howard Wimshurst. So he's first of all he's British. I mean, he's a cool guy. So he's like a year younger than me, so he's 25, but he's been animating for as long as I've been doing the NASCAR content, so like over 10 years. So he has a good grasp on animation, and yeah, and he's a really cool guy. I've actually talked to him like a few times, and yeah, seems a really cool down to earth guy. But his animations and his animation like tutorials and tips and tricks are like he speaks in a way that I'm able to understand him, and I greatly appreciate that. But
Mhm.
NASCAR, since all you guys are here for NASCAR stuff, um, who are some people? So okay, for the Inner 2003 stuff, if you guys remember, what's his name, Camshaft 24. If you remember him, he
Mhm.
made like the Inner 2003 compilation videos.
Mhm.
24 Camshaft 24. He made like all the different Inter 2003 Crash compilation videos. FCF guitarist made a couple of Inter 2003 videos, and then actually, and this leads into another question. So Sign On 44 was another inspiration on the Inter 2003 front with his Global Racing League and his TM Master Cup series. That stuff was exciting, and I thought he had like his own like separate program to do his like work on, but it was just Inter 2003, and it's like I didn't realize that until like the last moment. I thought that was so cool that he was able to do that. But fun fact about Sign On is in his forum in 2009, and this is so embarrassed by this. So in 2009 at Texas Speedway, Jeff Gordon won for the first time. And in the forum of Sign On's Team Master Cup Series League, this is so dumb. I said like, "Oh, hey, congrats to Jeff Gordon," and then I thought, "Oh man, no one will see it." In small text, I had like a string of like swear words, and I was like blasting Jeff Gordon like on loud. I was an awful teenager, yeah. And so the next post was from CJ, which is one of the questions coming up here. And he's like, yeah, that little blip there gets you a 1-month ban from the forum. And it's like, oh my gosh, no. And I felt so bad. And I still feel bad. Like every time I see Sign On 44 on Twitter, like I'll like apologize. And I'll be like, yeah, I'm so sorry for that. And he doesn't even remember it. So it's like there's no point in me feeling so bad. So yeah, that's fun. Good times. I regret that so much. Mm-hmm. Anyway, I guess we can then answer the question from Blackhawk Rabbits, who asked, have you watched the FARC Lao Dollar series? So I haven't watched any of his newer stuff. Same with Sign On. I really haven't seen their newer stuff just because of my own work. But I did watch CJ's, what was his league? Arla. That's it. Arla, which is the ARCA of the TM Master Cup series. And CJ ran that. And so actually, fun fact, the first ever Inter 2003 cars that I ever painted, like ever. Oh, I think I mentioned this in my the video of the stuff I never made for Inter 2003.
Yeah.
I don't remember if I mentioned it or not, but there was a series called the RROL Elite Series. And it's created by this guy named Woody. And for whatever reason, those races are not public. They're unlisted. But in I think it was the 2010 series, there's a few drivers named Ricky Gonzalez, Mickey Gonzalez, and Rachel Gonzalez. Those 3 cars were the first cars I ever painted for Inter 2003. And they were in the game and racing. And I was just so excited because it's like, oh my gosh, that's my work. And so I don't want to go too far on a tangent here, but how I painted those cars was in high school during class. Like while the teacher was talking, I would like slowly but surely like paint the cars on the side. And actually, there was one day where I was actually kicked from the computer for being too much of a distraction because I was so focused on the cars. Yeah. So that was fun. I was not the best of kids back in the day, but yeah. I guess Alex, did you watch the FARC Lao Dollar series?
I have not actually, but I'd be willing to check it out.
Yeah. His name is CJ CEEJ. So,
gotcha.
All right. So one more question here, and then we'll wrap up this 0th episode of the podcast,
and we'll talk about our next topic.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
I reminded you this time.
Thanks, Alex. Okay, so you're 1 for 4. That's 25%. All right.
Better than winless.
That's true. I'll give you that. All right. So the question is, and this actually kind of does leak into the next topic, which is from NASCAR UT fan, and he asks, "What got you into NASCAR?" So we're going to talk more in depth about this in the next episode. But I can say the big thing that got me into NASCAR was the unique paint schemes. Just the different colors, the Tide Red, the Rainbow 24, the yellow Kodak 4 car. just all the different colors coming together in a blur it's mwah, beautiful.
Mhm.
What about you, Alex?
Yeah, same deal. I love the action of racing. I love the idea that that people race each other in these cars going in circles or around a circuit. And as you said, different colors of the cars, the different brandings, the identities. I just thought that was pretty cool.
Cool. Cool. All right, so I think we're going to start wrapping up here, but another reminder, if you want to ask a question for next week's episode, you'll head on over to the Discord, which is in the description below, and there's a little channel that says questions, and it'll be open, and you guys will go ahead and you guys can ask away whatever you guys like. All right, so with that being said here, so the next week, so next Monday at 8 Eastern, 7 Central, it'll be our official first episode. And so the first episode is simply why we love NASCAR. What pretty much got us into NASCAR, and we're going to go like super deep into this. Like, what are the little trinkets when we got into it? And I could talk about how I kind of phased out of NASCAR for a while, and then the resurgence of how I got back into NASCAR, and how like being on YouTube and being on social media has kind of inspired me to continue going with NASCAR. And yeah, so we're gonna go super in depth with that. We'll also talk about the races from Michigan. We got a double header this weekend, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, we do.
All right, that's going to be exciting. So yeah, doubleheader from Michigan there, and then we'll also answer your guys' questions there as well. All right, so I think we'll wrap it up here. Alex, I know you mentioned this at the beginning, but where would they find you?
So yeah, if you want to subscribe to my channel, SonicRules831, feel free to go ahead, or you could find me on Twitter at AlexGray83, and I know people misspell my last name a lot. It's Gray, not EY.
Perfect. And at the very end here, I will have the actual wording set up. And I also have the links to his YouTube and Twitter in the description below as well. And then as for myself, if you guys didn't know, I have both like a Griff Dog channel and then a Griffin Spear channel. Well, not channel. I'm sorry. Let me back up on this. So for YouTube, I'm just doing it all on here, both NASCAR and animation. But for Twitter and Instagram, Twitter, I got Griff Dog, which is the NASCAR stuff, and then Griffin Spear, which is where I'm posting my animation progress. So if you guys want to follow that, you're more than welcome to. And then same with Instagram, I got the Griff Dog Instagram, where it's more NASCAR stuff, and then Griffin Spear Instagram, that is more, again, the animation stuff. So yeah, and I guess one more thing, just to ask you, Alex, what projects are you working on?
So one of them, as I mentioned before, it's called Sunday Night Lights. It's a playoff of Friday Night Lights, but it's of course NR 2003 oriented. It's similar to One More Spark. I work on it with Noah Sweet, or Lefty, as you know him,
Yep.
Ferris K, and my friend Jetman as well.
Yep.
And we released a prologue not too long ago that covered 1981 to 1986 and stuff that changes there. So that's on my channel, and starting 87 soon. We have a bunch of really cool ideas and rumors and what ifs that we've been playing around with and seeing what happens. So that's one of the big things. And yeah, I continue to paint cars on the side or draw a little bit and just kind of do a little bit of everything for fun.
Okay, sounds good. And then as for me, I am working on animation here. So I'm currently working on the walk cycle. I've gotten like the feet down, but what I'm focusing more on is now like the human anatomy and like having like an actual like human walk. And so I'm going to be working on that this week, and hopefully I have some progress here next week. So, all right, before we end, any last things, Alex?
That's about it for me.
All right, sounds good. So, with that being said, hope you guys can stick around next week. We'll be back here Monday, 8 Eastern, 7 Central. Until then, this is Griffin Spear, aka Griff Dog, saying so long. Until next time. All right, now let's end this right here.